Good morning, I'm Savory. I'll be your guide today. We woke up to a lot of fog. It's going to be an impediment to our hiking along the Ka'u coast, making breathing difficult. But I hope to take you down where some parcels are being offered for sale and to see them in their raw cattle trod state before the developers really go to town. The scenery of the coast of Ka'u is generally quite rugged, and some people don't consider it to be beautiful. But it is a vast openness that if a person can find that openness of spirit in themselves, they will indeed find it to be also beautiful. I'm a little hungover. I need to get my gear together. So in a few minutes I'll take you out in the truck. It's a beautiful day out, but incredible amount of fog. The volcano's really burning up forest or something. Not much of a day for hiking, you know, considering all that stuff we got to breathe. But that's the nature of living in Ka'u, and we got used to it years ago, is that you wake up some mornings and it's just brown clouds coming over the hill. What are you going to do? You know, stop your life? So everybody that couldn't handle it moved away, and now the land is available for the next fool. So what is it about Lehman Brothers anyhow? 3 Ka'u parcels for sale. I mean, this is, aren't these the folks that got bailed out by the government for ruining the economy or something like that? I mean, Jesus Christ. If I conducted business the way these guys do, man, they'd strung me up. We're talking about imaginary wealth here. People borrowing $43 million on the idea that they could take this land, get it rezoned, and build high-end houses here. I think they should have come talk to me about that, or the Hawaiians. Man, what $43 million could do for Ka'u. And personally, I think this is a great time for the government or whoever these guys owe the money to just say, look, you know, we want that land. We're going to use it to get over some of our bad blood with the Hawaiians and give it back to the people of the native people of the islands to use how they see fit. And and just put a stop to trying to dominate the place by building little boxes all over it. There's got to be somebody out there in the Hawaiian population that has a vision for how to live with this land in modern days without leveling it and hauling in trees from Oregon and cement from California and on and on and on. You know, how to just live on the land in a responsible way without having to make such a mess. I mean, when you go to the Hawaiian archaeological sites, you see little stone enclosures or caves or, you know, level spots where there used to be some thatched hut. Now you go to the archaeological site of a suburban home, you know, you see a lot of unnatural stuff. I often speculate, you know, how much of my cabin's going to be here in 100 years. You know, what do the archaeologists find when they come back in 3013 and try to figure out what the hell I was doing here? You know, they find probably some bits in stainless steel and maybe some parts of tools and parts of truck engine and granite countertop from the sink, and the sink is stainless, faucets, glass, broken glass from the windows. But by and large, most of it's just going to be, you know, termite poop by then. I know they'll have no clue as to what the hell went on here. But they can see that we made a huge mess doing it, just from the way things are littered about. My God, a girlfriend thinks this yard is a disaster with my storage of raw materials laying around. Most of it won't be here in 100 years. Okay, here we go. Let the wild adventure begin. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I'm a transvestite and proud of it. It's really no big deal. You know, it doesn't put me in a special class or separate me from the rest of the population or anything like that. You know, I really love people at all shapes and sizes, genders, and you know, beliefs and orientations. You know, it takes all of us to make this world go round. And you know, if there is a omniscient eye out there, it's looking through every one of our eyes in order to perceive a collective view of what it is to be human. So I think it's time we set aside trying to make everybody fit one mold and just rejoice in our tremendous diversity. There's so much treasure in each person's perspective. So, it happens to be the day after November 22nd, which was the anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. It also happens to be my anniversary with my wife, Lisa. And so that particular note caused me to review online some of the recordings of Kennedy's speeches before he was killed. And I found it very interesting that someone had gone to the trouble to dig up some of these speeches, particularly the last one at the American University. And their intent was to demonstrate by coincidence that it is perhaps true that it was the content of that speech which got him killed in the first place, because he was advocating an end to the Cold War and treating the Russians the way we'd like to be treated. That was evidently not a very popular view with the military and the military-industrial complex. So if those folks are, in fact, behind the scenes, the ones who orchestrated his demise, they had their reasons. So many people all over the world, even talking to Lisa's parents, they had set their hopes for a brighter future on President Kennedy because he represented a youthful vitality and humanness, as well as a tremendous intellect, which you gather from his speeches. And, you know, they really hoped that the world would become a much better place and that they would escape the state of fear that had arisen from nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, that got cut short, and everyone that had their hopes pinned on him lost a great deal of confidence in the future at that point. So here we are, the anniversary of his assassination, and wondering what the world might have been like if that hadn't happened. But just as an aside, I wanted to share with you a reminder of something that is a natural phenomena. This tree used to have a chain and a padlock tied around it. Now that padlock has been removed. You can see how the tree is deformed itself in order to keep on going around that restriction. This is life, but it's also kind of representing, if you would, the result of human intervention with the course of nature. It tends to create situations like this, where nature continues, but it does so in a somewhat perverted way. And I think it's a good reminder that our actions have consequences. Alright, I'll take you a little ways down this access road. This little town is largely what? Actually, this little town, it's got its center as the park. And I think that actually does, in fact, sort of represent the nature of this place. There's a county park in the middle of town, and people like to play baseball and gather here. That building on the left is a community center where we have our public meetings and debate all the issues when they affect Ka'u. But there's a diverse population here. Large percentage of Filipinos and Native Hawaiians and Howleys that have moved into, especially some of the surrounding developments, and the tradition of ranching. I mean, this is